So the brand new Google Pixel Watch and the Galaxy Watch 5 are easily two of the best smartwatches you can buy if you have an Android device. But between the two of them, there are a lot of differences. So I decided to dig a little deeper, and I put these to the test with a workout test looking at the heart rate and the GPS accuracy. We'll talk about the speakers and the microphones, the interfaces, the design, and everything else that I've actually damaged on some of these watches as well. So there's a lot to talk about, but I want to break this down into a couple categories. The first category I want to talk about is the physical design. Okay, so let's go kind of back and forth between these. Starting off, the first win for the Galaxy Watch is that it comes in two different sizes. We have the smaller version, as I have right here, which is more in line with the Pixel Watch, about the same size, and then there's also a 44mm version that has a larger display, just kind of a scaled up version of this. And so while the Pixel Watch is only available in 41mm, which for most people is probably okay. I personally really like smaller watches, so I'm happy with that. But if you have a larger watch, or if you have impaired vision, or if you have maybe larger fingers that it's hard to use smaller displays, all of those would be reasons that you can't use the Pixel Watch. It's just too small for some people out there. The Galaxy Watch also allows for a standard 20mm strap. So on the back, we have, this classic little dual pin strap. You can push a little pin, pop it out, and put on any strap you want. The Galaxy ones do look best because they have a little fishtail on the end, whereas the Pixel Watches, at least right now, you can only use the proprietary Pixel bands. Now, eventually there will be third-party straps out there, but what I would really like to propose, and maybe somebody can even make this, it would be so nice if there was like a little lug adapter that you can put onto here and then use any of the other 20mm straps that a lot of people already have from previous watches. Now, going to a win for the Pixel Watch is actually the stainless steel build of this. I really like the stainless steel design. I think it looks nice. It feels really nice. You're durable, but in a weird way. I'll talk about what I mean by that in a second. But stainless steel, in my opinion, just looks and feels a lot nicer than the aluminum we're getting on the Galaxy Watch. Now, aluminum's still a fantastic material, but it's going to be a little bit softer and a little bit more prone to damage. In addition to that, we are getting a nice physical rotating device on Pixel Watch, being the rotating crown. I think having something that physically rotates is better than the digital rotation we're getting on the Galaxy Watch, but you can debate which rotation's better. Like, do you want a rotating crown or do you want a bezel? Because the Galaxy Watch has a touch bezel. You kind of swirl around the outside and you can navigate the interface. It's nice, it's good to use. I mean, obviously, if it was a physical rotating bezel, I think that would be better, but it's still there as it is. Getting back to that durability thing I said, this is really where the plot kind of thickens here. I think it's really interesting. On the spec sheet, you would say the Galaxy Watch should be less durable than the Pixel Watch because it has aluminum versus stainless steel. But if you look at where the stainless steel actually is, it's almost entirely pressed against your skin, and that's not where you care about durability. Where you care about durability is everything above that, which is the glass, which is actually much less durable than the Galaxy Watch. The Galaxy Watch has a much more durable display, and it's also protected, being a flat display with a nice chunky bezel around there. I never thought I'd say nice chunky bezel, but it's good when you're trying to protect the display. And as you can see here, I was rock climbing. I don't know why. I swear I always do this. And I damaged the top of the watch, but that didn't impact the screen at all because we have that aluminum up there. Whereas on the Pixel Watch, if I were to create the same damage on this, it would very likely impact the display, maybe even crack the whole thing because first of all, it's less durable glass, and second of all, there's absolutely no metal on the top that is going to protect that. So for that reason, I would recommend if you get the Pixel Watch, maybe you could mitigate this by getting like a little metal guard right there you can glue on. I'm not really sure. Okay, so that's the physical design with these. You can leave a comment and let me know which one you think looks better. But moving on to the displays are very similar. You're getting about a 1.2-inch display on both of these, being the smaller Galaxy Watch. Of course, the larger one has a larger display. But the Pixel, I would argue, has a much better handling of the bezel around that. So neither one has a fantastic screen-to-body ratio. There's a large black bezel around each of them, but because the Pixel has that kind of waterfall edge and it's very, very curved, very high gloss as well, you really don't see that edge nearly as well as you can on the Galaxy Watch. And on top of that, almost all of the watch faces on the Pixel are black on the outside, so you really don't see it, whereas on the Galaxy Watch, a lot of them are white or other colors that make it incredibly obvious where the screen ends and where the bezel begins. But as far as the displays themselves go, they're both very bright, they're both AMOLED. Maybe you get a little bit more glare on the Pixel Watch, but again, I can see them both very, really well, especially when you're working out. I don't have an issue with that. Getting into the fitness and the heart rate tracking and the overall accuracy of these, well, let's start off by talking about what they both have. They both have an ECG, they both have SpO2, sort of. The Pixel Watch has SpO2 sensors, but doesn't really show you that yet, but that's coming soon. It gets confusing, but they both have a heart rate sensor and a lot of the other classics we'd like to see, like GPS, accelerometer, blah, 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 stuff like that. Samsung has some cool things added to their watch, like a body temperature sensor, which also is not really used right now. These companies love to add stuff that isn't ready when you get the watch, but something that is ready when you get this watch is the body composition. So you're able to tell what your body fat percentage is and stuff like that. Not super accurate, but a ballpark estimate, which I think is a nice thing to have here. But let's talk about the accuracy when it comes to just a regular workout, running or biking. Okay, so starting off with the heart rate data, I compared these two watches to a known accurate Polar H10 heart rate strap. And as you can see in the beginning, the Pixel Watch for the first couple minutes, just like my previous test, it was off. It was always low. But then as soon as it locked on at about the 5-minute mark, it was completely lockstep with the heart rate sensor the entire time, which is incredible. It was one of the most accurate heart rate sensors I've seen on a watch, but just not for the first couple minutes. The Galaxy Watch, on the other hand, I'm not really sure what was going on here. It really struggled the entire time. There were sections where it was kind of close, but for the most part, it was really inaccurate. Now, I know that this was a bike ride, so it's a little bit trickier for the watch, but Pixel really had no problem with this. If you look at a previous run I did with the Galaxy Watch, it was slow in the beginning and it was a little bit low on the end as well, but in the middle, it was a little bit more accurate. So there are situations where it can be more accurate, but in general, I think it's safe to say the Pixel Watch is way more accurate with heart rate. And then the GPS was a completely different story, but also really interesting. So the Pixel Watch in the beginning squiggles around a lot. I'm not sure why. That seems to be a bug. It happened on every workout I did with this. And then it added about 1/8 of a mile before I even started going. But then once I started going, it was pretty accurate for the most part. Now, the Galaxy Watch on the flip side, instead of adding 1/8 of a mile, actually subtracted 1/8 of a mile because it didn't lock in the GPS and still I went about 1/8 of a mile. And so the reason for this is because the Pixel Watch allows you to initiate GPS but not start the workout and then just hit start after you lock into GPS, whereas the Galaxy Watch, you hit start and it starts looking for GPS after you start the workout. I don't know why they do that. Then looking at the duration of the workout, in general, they were both fairly accurate. They both squiggled around a little bit, but really, really pretty close to where the trail actually was. So I was happy with the GPS overall. So I really like that Google integrates with Fitbit and you get the Fitbit daily readiness score and other things like that, but it's so unfortunate that there's a paywall there. You have to pay to get some of that stuff. To get more advanced sleep analytics, to get that daily readiness score, you have to get Fitbit Premium. And even though there's like a 6-month free trial with that, what happens after that? You have to pay a couple $dollars a month just to see stuff that your watch is already reading for you. The Galaxy Watch doesn't have any paywalls, and one final benefit with the workout in that realm is that it also has auto workout detection. So if you start running or biking, it'll figure it out and automatically start tracking your workout. Okay, and then let's take a look at these. They're both technically running Wear OS, but it's a completely different version of Wear OS. So if you look at these, they both have a watch face. You can tap and hold it, change the watch face. If you swipe down on either one of them, you get your little drawer of quick settings. Instead of being laid out laterally like we see on the Galaxy Watch, it's vertical on the Pixel Watch. If we swipe up from the bottom, this is very different. On the Pixel Watch, you're getting your notifications. On the Galaxy Watch, you're getting your entire app drawer. And this is a benefit. I think they did a good job of this, where you can use the digital bezel to navigate here, but if you're on the home screen, you can use your digital bezel to navigate through the tiles. On the Pixel Watch, the rotating crown can bring you up and down, but it doesn't ever bring you through your little tiles, your little widgets there. Additionally, when you look at the app drawer, I think they did a better job on Samsung here as well, where instead of having just a long list that looks really boring, like an infinite scroll, Samsung has kind of a 3-tier or a 3-column list. I think it's just a little bit easier to find your apps on Samsung. But the Pixel Watch has plenty of advantages in itself, including a very deeply integrated Google Assistant that I think works really well, but also is very, very quick. So if you just tap and hold the top button, you can ask it any question you want. It'll bring it up almost instantly, and that can be setting timers for you or asking questions about the weather, the world, whatever. Any questions you have, obviously it does that very well. Now you have Bixby by default on the Galaxy Watch, and you can change that if you want, but I just find that it's a little bit better, a slight advantage on the Pixel Watch. That's obviously Google's main priority there. We also have substantially differing features between the two of these. So the Galaxy Watch, like I said, has body composition. Pixel has Google Assistant. The Galaxy Watch has wrist gestures to dismiss calls and launch apps and things like that. The Pixel Watch, at least right now, doesn't have that. The Galaxy Watch also allows you to customize multiple data screens while you're on a workout, so running, for example, whereas the Pixel Watch allows you to customize it, but only one data screen. So I don't know why they don't let you have more. It's kind of not the best layout. Sometimes when you're running, you want to go to the next screen and see what your lap data is versus the overall run data. Things like that can be a little bit more useful on the Galaxy Watch, but I think that's going to be a common trend when we get into the actual apps. The Galaxy Watch also has a more advanced run coach built into it so that you can just start running and it'll tell you like when to speed up, when to slow down. And it's not just for running, it works for other workouts as well. And there's no paywall associated with that. But speaking of the apps, like I said, this is really where you see a pretty big difference, where it seems like the Samsung Health app, which is where you get your health analytics from the Galaxy Watch, is a lot more like nitty-gritty details. They'll tell you more analytics about your run, including like your overall air time, like when you're contact time versus when you're up in the air, your step asymmetry, your leg spring stiffness, all these different analytics that can be really useful in improving your form and how you run and figuring out what you need to work on. On the flip side, if you look at the Pixel Watch, this is meant to be a little bit more streamlined, a little bit less of a fire hose of data, and just show you like how well you're doing, gamify it. And that's why it's a great, Fitbit's always been great for getting people to lose weight and otherwise just kind of get involved in getting fit. And so they make it as simple as possible. Like for your sleep score, they give you like an animal that you're associated with and things like that. You can dig a little deeper, but nowhere near as deep as you're getting with the analytics on the Galaxy Watch. As far as the apps go for customizing the watches, I mean, Galaxy Wearable app and Google Pixel app, really not that different from my perspective, but really the health is going to be the big difference like I mentioned. You're also getting some advantages with the Google Pixel Watch in terms of the internals being 32 gigabytes of storage versus 16 on the Galaxy Watch. So that means you can download like more music or pictures or apps and things like that on your watch, as well as you also have 2 gigabytes of RAM versus 1.5. Again, the Pixel coming out ahead there. They both have Bluetooth 5, but 5.0 on the Pixel, 5.2 on the Galaxy, not a huge difference. They both have optional LTE. They both do have Wi-Fi and NFC for contactless payments. The default, of course, is Google Pay on the Pixel Watch, but you can still get that on the Galaxy Watch. And as far as the battery goes, well, this is an unfortunate one for the Pixel Watch. So the Pixel Watch is really like an 18-hour battery life, which means you're not even getting through a full 24 hours. You probably want to charge it while you sleep, unless you charge it at some point during the day. The Galaxy Watch, I find, you can definitely get through a full day a lot more easily, maybe a couple hours into the next day, so maybe a 1.5-day watch from my experience, not like the 40-hour battery that some people are saying, unless you really trim down a lot of the features, but the battery life, you are getting an edge on the Galaxy Watch that, again, I really wish that we had that on the Pixel Watch. Google's usually so good with their software optimization, but here, it just, I don't know, that's how it is. Okay, so in conclusion, which is actually the better watch here? Well, the Pixel Watch gives you Fitbit on board, which is, in my opinion, better for weight loss and generally just getting into shape. The Galaxy Health app is better for more advanced workouts and more advanced athletes. You get more premium metal on the Pixel, but a tougher display and more protection on the Galaxy. So durability, the Galaxy Watch pulls ahead there. The aesthetics, that's kind of a toss-up. I think I really like the way the Pixel Watch looks. It's a little bit sleeker, kind of a pebble design. Maybe I'm just in the honeymoon phase with this watch, but I like how it looks. You're getting deeper Google integration on the Pixel Watch, but deeper Samsung integration on the Galaxy Watch. That means you can have like seamless switching for Galaxy earbuds, for example. The Galaxy also has standard straps, so you can switch out to a lot of different straps that already exist on Amazon, and you have the digital bezel on there. You have a lot of hidden features, like I said, with wrist gestures and things like that, and above all else, there's no paywall, and it's a lower price. You're looking at $280 at the time of launch versus $350. That's the base model for each of these. So if you are a value hunter, without a doubt, the Watch 5 from Samsung is a no-brainer. But the Google experience is hard to quantify, and I wouldn't underestimate the Pixel Watch. So between the two of these, which one do you think is better? Leave a comment below. For me personally, I will keep wearing the Pixel Watch because it's so early and I need to learn more about it. I've only had it for a little while now. I plan to wear it at least another month, but let me know what you think between these two watches. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing. I'm Mike O'Brien. Thanks for watching. See you next time.